I just recorded this video, and it just doesn't work. It just it's gone. It's in the shadow realm. I don't know what happened to it. This is stupid. I spent 10 minutes making that video, and it's just gone. I don't have any explanation. This recording software sucks. Since it's basically scripted now, because I don't script my videos, it takes too much time. I'm just gonna go over all the reasons I had that I just said literally a minute ago. So this video will probably be pretty quick for my power rankings. No placements because I didn't do it last week. So I have no placements to base them off of. This is just how I feel about all the teams. Panthers, terrible. The only winless team. They don't have DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, who both have amazing performances so far in the season. What else do I have to say? Man, I don't really know. They're just really bad, okay? Next 5 are all terrible teams. Now you might be like, why are the Commanders in front of the Bears? Because the Commanders beat the Broncos, Bears lost the Broncos. They're equally terrible. You can switch them if you want. If you want to put the Commanders at 28 and the Bears at 26, I don't care. Anyway, all 31 through 26 are all absolute terrible teams who won't be doing anything in the playoffs. Like, they're not even wild card chances. If you're in the 26 through 32 range, 32 range, you're dog awful. You don't even need to be tanking. All you need to fight for the first round pick and see who wins it. I mean, the first pick. Except for you, Panthers, are disappointments. What do we got next? Raiders. Sure, they beat the Packers. I still don't think they're better. They're terrible. Their only saving grace is Josh Jacobs, who hasn't been that good, and Devontae Adams and Max Crosby. They could be alright later in the season. They have a hard division to deal with. The Chargers and the Chiefs. They have to play both of those teams. Chiefs 2 more times. Chargers once more. The reason I have them behind the Packers also is because they have Jimmy Garoppolo. And you know, if you have Jimmy Garoppolo on your team is going to be significantly worse than if you had like any other quarterbacks that's starting worthy. He's not going to win many more games for the Raiders this season. Bengals and Vikings are both were very highly rated. I had the Bengals winning 13 games and the the Vikings winning 10. Are either of those even have a chance to happen anymore? Probably not. They both can definitely turn it around, and I expect them to turn around at least a little bit. But at this point, I can't have them any higher than where I have them right now. Packers and Jets, both just kind of underwhelming. I had the Packers being 7 and 10. That looking like it could definitely happen. Jets, I had 10 and 7. I don't know about that. Yeah, these teams might neither of them have winning records, but I wouldn't be that surprised for the Packers. Would be a little bit surprised for the Jets, though. I mean, just losing Aaron Rodgers is a big difference. Titans. What do I have to say about them? What did they do last? Lose to the Colts, I think. Y'all are alright. Y'all aren't terrible. Y'all don't have to tank or anything. But it's just going to be a very hard race to the playoffs. The division isn't great, but there's at least 3 teams better than you. I think they're the worst team in their division. Doesn't mean they're bad. They're alright. They're not great, though, and they're not going to win their division. The Browns have had some good wins, some terrible losses. So hard to judge them. And now we know that Nick Chubb's not coming back. I don't think there's much left for the Browns to do besides just kind of willow and maybe get a couple extra good wins. And then the rest is probably going to be just disappointment after disappointment. Texans, even though they lost, still showed that C.J. Stroud is amazing. You know, they're probably not going to be amazing this year. They have a chance to win the division. It might happen. I don't think it will. It could. They already have, almost more wins than I had them getting the entire season. They already have half the wins I had them getting. I had them getting 4. They have 2. And there's a lot more of the season to go. Don't let this loss take up your entire goals this season. Y'all can still definitely hit 9 wins if y'all work hard enough. Win your divisional matchups, stuff like that. Rams and Saints. Falcons, y'all can switch them all around. I don't really care. All these teams have not really any great wins, except for the Rams beating Seattle in week 1, which is week 1. A lot of things happened in week 1. Saints and Falcons, neither of them have any amazing wins. I think they're better than the Rams. But I could be mistaken. You could switch any of these 3 teams around. I wouldn't really be that mad. Just at the fact that the Saints and Falcons have 3 wins. Rams have 2 wins. Another team with 3 wins is the Colts. I'm slightly above the Falcons in the stage right now. It definitely could change by next week, but right now I think the Colts have a lot of potential, especially with Zach Moss being a beast, Jonathan Taylor coming back. The only thing that's holding them from being any higher than this is Anthony Richardson's injury. Yeah, Ravens, embarrassing. No excuse. Your team sucked this week. You and the Steelers' offenses are disappointments, and I feel bad for anybody that had to go through that entire game. Neither of these teams I think, are really Super Bowl worthy. I had the Ravens at 13 wins. I think I overrated the AFC North a little bit. Looks like the AFC South might be better, if you could believe that. I think all these teams are not very good. Steelers are above the Ravens because they beat them, and even, I guess, well, wins are my only motivation, but it was pretty strong here since the Ravens just managed to make more mistakes than the Steelers in the end. Had the Cowboys over the Steelers. Remember, first I had the Steelers over the Cowboys. Realized how stupid it was and changed it. Cowboys suck, but they're not worse than the Steelers. Cowboys are disappointments. They are frauds. Have no good wins. The teams they've beaten are the Giants with 1 win, the Patriots with 1 win, and the Jets with 1 win. 2 wins, whatever. 4 wins total for their team. For like it's terrible. Cowboys, no good wins. A loss to the Cardinals and a blowout loss to the 49ers. They're bad. Chargers and Jags are both pretty good teams. Their schedule hasn't been too favorable, but the Jags actually managed to beat one of those really good teams. We'll talk about the win in a second. Chargers are good. They're good. They just have a hard schedule. Bucks don't really have a particularly hard schedule either. Their only losses to the great Philadelphia Eagles, and it wasn't like a blowout or anything. Baker Mayfield's doing alright. People thought they were going to suck. I said the entire offseason that the Bucks were going to be good. Like, I knew it. They still have an amazing roster. Their roster's still top 10 in the league. It's just they lost their quarterback. And I know it can hurt a lot of teams, but clearly it's not hurting the Bucks too much as they continue to win games, and they have a break for, I don't even know who they're going against this week, but Seahawks are really great. Their offense is amazing. Amazing receiver core, great quarterback, great running back. Their defense leaves a lot to be decided on the field, but they managed to win even with that terrible defense multiple times, so I'm not too worried about their chances to make it to the playoffs. Bills. Now you might be like, they're 3-2. How are they in the top 10, 7, top 7, top 6? I'm like, well, first of all, they have good wins against teams like the Dolphins. Second of all, the Cowboys, the Jags were favored to win that game from the start. They get to have a whole 2 weeks in London while the Bills get to have probably 6 to 5 days. And if they arrived on the second day, then they really don't have time to do anything or energy to do anything. It's just so hard to win in that situation. It's just really hard to win there. I can't blame the Bills at all. Dolphins are ahead of the Bills just because they have 1 more win and they have some very dominant wins despite the loss to the Bills. You can switch these 2 teams around, whatever. I don't want to put a 2-loss team in the top 5, though. Lions are very great. Their only loss is to a great Seahawks team, and it was in overtime. The defense could use some work, but as you saw in the Falcons game, sometimes that defense is just good. Sometimes the Falcons offense is just bad, but that's not what we're talking about here. I would put them above the Chiefs because I feel like the Chiefs are just better. Like, even if they beat them, I think they played again. Do you really think the Lions will beat the Chiefs? No. Anyway, Chiefs have been blowing out teams since that loss. It looks like they're coming back with vengeance. I was going to change the Super Bowl picking the 49ers. No, the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl this year. You heard it here first. I still think they're going to win. Eagles, 49ers, 2 undefeated teams. 49ers only reason they fight the Eagles because they have way more dominant wins, including a dominant victory over the Cowboys. So good to hear, so good to watch. But yeah, this one is probably less long. It's actually no, it took around the same amount of time to explain the same things I literally just explained. Okay, whatever. Please work.